seem to choose the games they just played. Others say pandemic's number one. Will it ever change? Dice Tower, people's choice, top 100 games.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome back to the best games of all time. According to you, this is the top 10. These are the 10 best games that over 2,000 people voted on. But before we get to these top 10 games, I thought I'd do a quick rundown of games that just missed the cut. 101 was Hiroshima Hex. That's sad. El Grande actually makes me really sad. El Grande was on the list for the first 4 years. It fell off the list last year. This year almost made it on with 102. Fury of Dracula had a massive fall from 38 to 103. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe people are upset that I honestly don't get that one at all. And Spectre Ops also dropped from 42 to 104. Other drops on the list, Forbidden Island went from 63 to 114. Machi Koro went from 74 to 131. And Formula Day dropped off the list. It was at 61 and it's not even on the list at all, at least of the numbers that I counted up to. Oh well. So we can talk about why these are. Remember though, 104 is still pretty good. But here are the 10 best as voted on by you. Number 10, it was number 15 last year. This strategy game from Days of Wonder still amazes me at how much it's liked, and that's Five Tribes. Five Tribes is a game where you're picking up things and dropping them, almost like a Mancala type thing. It's fairly abstract in how it plays out. There was a bit of controversy on some of the cards that were in the game, and yet despite all that, despite the fact that it wasn't even Days of Wonder normal thing, they normally make lighter games, this game has done really well. Number 10, Five Tribes. Number 9, this one didn't shock me at all. This was 13 on my list. This one's new to the list this year, and that is Blood Rage. Yes, for the haters against Blood Rage, they can say it's just about the pretty miniatures, but it's not. Because if it was just about the miniatures, there are many, many other games that have fantastic miniatures that haven't even hit the top 150. Blood Rage did, because Blood Rage is an amazing, fantastic, wonderful game. It is a reimagining of Midgard with cool card combat, just ways to upgrade, monsters, and yes, there is beautiful miniatures, but there's a great game behind it too. Number 8, on the list for 6 years. This was the first year it was number 1, second year was number 1. Then 3, 4, last year went down to 9, but this year up to 8. It came out with a second edition. It's Dominion. So I wonder if the second edition, which just came out a few weeks ago, is going to affect where Dominion comes next year, but it's still the deck builder of choice, right? It's the highest deck builder on my list, I think, yeah. It's just a fantastically fun, entertaining game. It's easy to play. You pull out 10 decks of cards, and it's themeless. There's no denying that, but it is a lot of fun. Number 7, this is its 5th year on the list. Last year it was number 3. It's gone as high as number 2, but it's King of Tokyo. Now, King of New York didn't even make the list this year. Last year, King of New York hit the list, and it kind of dropped off because essentially King of New York and King of Tokyo are the same game. If you're playing one, you're playing the other. People like both of them, but there's no question King of New York is more popular. I mean, King of Tokyo is more popular. Having giant monsters, King Kong, Godzilla fighting each other, rolling dice Yahtzee style, just a very entertaining game. They came up with a second edition this year, so it still has a lot of legs in it. Number 6, which debuted last year at number 2, it's been on the list for 3 years, and that's Dead of Winter. This one is still a little surprising to me because the game is fairly complex. Not everyone likes zombies. Not everyone likes semi-cooperative games. There's some people who really don't like Dead of Winter, and yet this game just keeps steamrolling. They came out with instead of making the next game in the series, they came out with a second edition of Dead of Winter. A second expansion / standalone for Dead of Winter because it was that popular. Dead of Winter, I know maybe part of it's due to The Walking Dead, how popular that series is right now. If you can stand to watch a series that kills off all your favorite characters. But it just, again, it's probably the heaviest game in the top 10. Number 5, been on the list for 6 years. The highest it's ever been was number 3. No shock to anyone, and that is Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride, in my opinion, the ultimate gateway game. I'd sit you down and say, hey, this is a little bit like Rummy, except there's a board, and we're connecting routes, easy to teach, and yet still offers strategy all the way for the most jaded of gamers. Ticket to Ride looks gorgeous. The 10th anniversary edition, which came out a couple years ago, is still one of the best versions to buy, people. It just looks great. There's lots of different maps, but the basic Ticket to Ride is still a fun game. Number 4, is the highest new game to the list this year. It's also number 1 on Board Game Geek, and that's Pandemic Legacy. Yes, some people say this is a flash in the pan, this game. A game where you change it and you can only play 12 to 24 times isn't worth it. But that means anyone who said that has likely not played it. Almost all the negative comments I've ever seen for Pandemic Legacy have come from people who say, I refuse to play it. While meanwhile, the people who are playing it are having a blast. A very strong storyline, so much fun involved with it. I'm playing through a second time with my family. Great times, Pandemic Legacy. Number 3, second year on the list. Last year was number 77. What party game has taken the world by storm, you might wonder? That would be Codenames. Codenames is everywhere. They got Codenames pictures. Codenames just broke 1 million copies in sales, so I guess it's not surprising to see it so high in this list. I suspect it will be high on the list for a while. A mix of passwords and just trying to outthink your opponent. People like party games where it's team against team. It's thinky, but at the same time can lead to some really funny moments. Really great game, Codenames. Number 2, which has been on the list all 6 years, 425662. Well, you knew this one was coming because we already mentioned its new brother, Seven Wonders Duel, and now we have just Seven Wonders. And you know, Seven Wonders is in my top 200. I like the game, I especially like it with the expansions, but I'm still amazed at how popular this game is. You know, this is essentially in the same grouping that we would put Carcassonne and Settlers of Catan and Ticket to Ride. I don't know, it hasn't probably sold as much as those 3, but it's done very well. It's a drafting game, it's Civilization, and it fits 7 people, which is another excellent benefit to the game. And number 1, which is the 4th year in a row it's been number 1. Started at 6.5 now for 1. Will it be dethroned next year? Who knows? But for now, Pandemic still reigns supreme. A cooperative game in which you solve all the diseases in the world, or cure all the diseases, eradicate the diseases. There's a lot of expansions for the game. There's spin-offs where you become the virus. There's a dice spin-off, and of course there's Pandemic Legacy. Will Pandemic Legacy beat Pandemic next year? Who knows? All I know is that it's a good day to be a Pandemic fan. So that was easily number 1. It wasn't even close to that between that and Seven Wonders. And in fact, many of the games in the top 10 were far, far above like the next 10. But that's because they're just games that people like. And in fact, I'll tell you this. If you don't know what game to buy, you can look at any of the 10 games I just mentioned, try them out, and there's a good chance you'll really have a lot of fun with them. Okay, well, the sun is out. The weather's nice. I could go for a swim, but I'm not going to because I didn't bring my swim trunks. But we're done. This is the end of the People's Choice Top 100. We're going to do it again next year. There's still Sam Healey's Top 100 to come in 2016. And of course, more Top 10s and all sorts of great things. So check out our channel for all that. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. To see the rest of the top 100 lists, check out our website at Dicetower.com, where you can also find The Dice Tower, the premier podcast about board games. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching
Dice Tower, People's Choice Top 100